Maybe you'll go last because you have jumbled stuff. So
I'm okay with that.
you want to go first then, Dylan?
Jumbled stuff.
I don't know. Like I feel like he has some like news that he does. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Surprise! We said we would not be back for another 2 weeks of live news, but
There's just too many juicy things in this world.
there's too much hot news, and that's a great thing about our new setup now. We can do as many episodes as we want, so I don't think this will be a huge, long episode, so it's just kind of like a little appetizer of news, something that happened over the week and whatnot. And there's only 3 of us right now, so I am the icon, Travis Snail. I don't know if I haven't decided if I'm going to stick with that, but I might, because I love the word icon. It's one of the nicknames for my favorite wrestlers, so I might.
You're just going to use it every week?
Maybe. I haven't.
But what about the rotation of names? That's so iconic to our cast.
Well, then I might say... Oh, I hadn't one. I'll stick with Icon Day because it's a mini one, because it's in the same week, right? But maybe I'll say the iconic other nickname, Travis Snail.
Oh
so like
gosh.
the iconic Big Evil Travis Snail.
Big Evil.
That's another wrestling.
Yeah.
It's always wrestling names, but and then obviously I'm joined by
the People's Champ. Dylan
Oh
Luss.
wow,
That's a Smash related one for my Smash related news today.
that's a Smash one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because that's the Rock's nickname. So I thought you were just poking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure it transcends many communities, but
And then finally we're joined by
The Taylor Field of Fields.
that was the most Taylor intro
I
Taylor's
was-
ever done.
I was not sure when he was going when he put the in front of Taylor. I'm like, oh, he just screwed up and he's
Oh,
not
no.
even notice the.
That's horrible.
Anyways, yeah, so we're here to talk about some news, and yeah, let's get right into it. Dylan, what do you got for us?
All right, so I'm today talking about Project M, also known as PM. It is a most people probably wouldn't know about it, like 'cause you kind of have to be more into the Smash community to really know about it. But it's essentially a Smash mod that was made for Brawl, because when Brawl came out, the like competitive community of Melee was like, we're not really into this game. Like this is not what we were looking for. Mainly because like Sakurai was like, I don't like this game being competitive. I'm gonna make something completely not competitive.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Not even like your community, but I feel like in general, that's always the one people rank last.
Right.
Like I think we've talked about this before. That it always seems like it's Melee. I think, and then the newest one.
Well, even Sakurai has been like quoted to say that Melee is like the sharpest one, and like he thinks it's the best one. But
yeah.
Yeah, so just in like specifically to the competitive community, Brawl was like not a good game necessarily.
Not
so
well received.
So I think it was about a year or two after Brawl was released, modders were on it and they made a game called Project M. Essentially, like from the beginning, I believe it was originally like Project Melee is what it was, and it was just pretty much a change to like Brawl's mechanics and physics to make it more like Melee. That was like the original thing. But it's been out for 6 years now, and it's just like a kind of flourished and grown into its own like amazing game. And so recently, like just the other day, they actually announced that like they're shutting it down. They're just done. Like they had stuff, like a bunch more stuff in the works, and like they were constantly patching it. But they just, I guess, decided that it was done. They didn't really like release a whole lot of info. They said that Nintendo didn't shut them down. I don't know, like.
Well,
they said it was more of a preventive, like, because it was probably coming, because they were in contact with lawyers and stuff, and
yeah.
So that sucks, because it's, like, a huge game for the Smash community, but it's already been, like, a real struggle for it in the past few months, because the big streams can't stream it anymore, because it's illegal, technically, because it's a mod. It's had a lot of problems, but now, like, the developers are now done with it, like, just completely done, no more patches or anything, just...
So with what's left now, like, does that stay still? Like, the stuff that they've made already, does that stay? Or is it just, like, all gone, like, wiped off the face of the planet?
Well, I mean, with the internet, nothing ever goes away, right?
Yeah.
So,
but is it more...
on their website, their website is literally now just one page that says, it's pretty much like their, thanks for the good times, we're out of here kind of thing.
Oh.
And then their contact is literally just contact to a lawyer, like, that's it. So you can't go on the website and download it anymore, like, it's gone, like, they don't want to be associated with it anymore. But, the downloads are all over the place. People have it. People even, like, ended up getting, like, copies that, like, the developers had. I don't know how that happened, but, like, stuff that's not released yet. So, I was telling you the other day about, like, how they put Knuckles in the game.
Yeah.
And, like, they have Lyn from Fire Emblem. Like, they have other characters in the works. Like, people got their hands on that.
Yeah.
So, people are, like, there's a ton of downloads out. You can still play the game. But without, like, patches and new content. Because it was constantly getting new content. Like, they brought back Mewtwo and Roy from Melee. They were like just doing great. Like Lucario, they essentially made like a Street Fighter character. Like they just have done tons of cool things and added stages. So that was a huge part of it that people like kept coming back is because they constantly had updates and like none of it was you didn't have to pay for anything obviously because it's a mod in the first place.
So for the past 6 years, has like Nintendo ever said anything about this, or
well,
have they ever?
There's just like levels of transparency, right? So in the community, like the general public, we don't hear like Nintendo shutting these things down, but like the really big streamers just stopped streaming it and took down all their videos of this game, and it was just kind of like we weren't really told. It was just I think it's just like the bigger people of the community know these kind of things.
Yeah.
But yes, like they kind of it is Nintendo's fault, I guess, in the long run.
So to play,
and I mean it's not their fault, right? Because they have liabilities. Well, no, it is
though.
Because if you think about it, like Snake's was in Brawl, therefore he's in PM.
Yeah.
So now, like they're responsible for that. Like they're responsible for that IP of like Snake and Sonic and stuff like that. So it's not just Nintendo like, oh, we don't want this mod of our game. Like it's a liability thing, right? And, like it makes sense.
I guess it is. It is,
and it is illegal technically.
I guess it is, but yeah, I guess because. Is it illegal because they sell it and stuff like that?
No, they don't. They don't sell it. I think it's just like, just the rights. Like
because I don't mod that much. But what's the difference of like on PC all like the Fallout mods and whatnot compared to this? Like why? Like
mainly it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because that's just like Nintendo. Yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Why is it so quiet? Oh, that's a bit better. That's weird.
Obviously we'll just cut this out, but like,
Yeah.
when you were recording stuff, did you change any settings, perhaps?
No. The only thing I did, I think I did turn the volume down when it was just like to play around with it, but...
I just turned it up again. But... Well, let's just play back so we don't, waste our time. I think it's fine.
Okay.
I don't really remember exactly what I was just talking about.
You're talking about... I asked you what's the difference between like a Fallout mod and Nintendo, and you're like, Nintendo...
Oh, yeah, so that's just like the Nintendo thing. Like if you think about any Nintendo, they don't like allow mods. They don't.
But that's where I think I'll say that is Nintendo's fault, because technically, like the people that mod and Fallout, is that technically illegal? Like even though they're making it more like any mod,
there's
I don't
things
mod
like
that much, so I don't know.
It's just different when you go to like a computer type modding community and to like a console community. So like even when Xbox and PlayStation they're getting in the modding community, you're not gonna. I really doubt you're gonna see like
John Cena.
Yeah, that or like Mickey Mouse and Fallout. Like you're not gonna see those things, right?
No.
Like that's kind of more of a PC thing where you can just get around that. And I don't know. I don't know exactly why Steam can do it and Nintendo can't. But it's also like the modding thing isn't supported by Nintendo in the first place, and so even just modding a game without permission is an infringement in the first place. I
guess so. Like obviously, I'm not disputing it's illegal. It's just one of these things that I always worry that Nintendo's kind of behind the ball on, and just like I feel like, especially now with PS4 and Xbox One saying they're going to start bringing mods, and obviously, like you said, they won't be as grand as PC mods, but I just feel like Nintendo is sometimes kind of behind the wheel or like behind the curve. So I hope I don't know. Like I know Nintendo. I can see why they're doing it.
I think one of the main things is like they never shut it down, and even like I'm inclined to believe them when they say that Nintendo didn't actually contact them and tell them to like stop now. It's just one of those things where like this game. It has like it had a pretty big community until the stream started shutting it down. It's like they just don't want that kind of thing on the internet, on streams. People watching it, people seeing it, and people
see that I don't like. Which I get. Like I guess it's that better. It's a gray area, right? Because like it is illegal, so it's that gray area of what's right or wrong. So it's hard for me to be like that's stupid.
They can't promote it. Like, they can't.
No. Yeah, that's tough. Well, and then the thing I was gonna bring up though, do you think it's just a coincidence at all that this happens and then like this month there's another like Smash Direct?
That's one thing that no one like just random internet people have talked about, so I don't know how much any of it's credible, but like let's say for example in this Smash ballot or the Smash announcement that Nintendo is coming up that like Snake is coming in. Yeah. Then that would make sense because Snake is in PM. Yeah. Like there you could see connections. Yeah. I don't think Snake's gonna be in, so I don't know if that's. I don't really know if this has
I don't-
anything to do with this like near announcement that's coming out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I doubt Snake will be in it just because of all the problems going over there, which we'll talk about later. in the
Yeah,
episode, so I
exactly,
don't
yeah.
think they have time to be like to talk with Nintendo. Maybe
Right.
they could try and do it to get some goodwill, but no, like I can see people's point. It's kind of like if you have like this is a weird analogy, but if you have someone like that's a great couple for years and they break up all of a sudden, and you're like that's kind of weird, and then the next time you see the guy or girl, they're like has this new person and they're totally dating them, and that's why I feel like this is kind of like, oh, this is weird, like how come they're just shut down now? It's like, oh, we have this direct coming up. It's like, oh, it all makes sense now. So
That's like
we'll see. I guess a direct, we'll see, because if it was Snake, then it would
that it could make, I don't know,
It'll
I
make
could
sense.
That could be something, but that's the thing, like it's just grasping at straws. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, no one really knows. They just kind of said, oh, Nintendo didn't shut us down, we're moving on to other things.
What if
like,
Nintendo Direct came, that was like that Direct, and they're just like, you know, we did it just to fuck you guys. Like, what if they're just really like mean and serious about it? I'm joking, it'll never happen, but
that
like,
would be hilarious, but
we shut it
but no,
down.
Nintendo has never even acknowledged it
Yeah.
in the public eye. So,
Yeah.
but you know what the thing is, like, yes, this is the worst that a Smash game has received. But before Nintendo has shut down, like, oh, you can't stream Melee tournaments,
Yeah.
you can't do this, you can't like play our game like that. Like they've done stuff before, and now the community is bigger than ever. It's hard for PM because you can't even stream it on
Yeah.
a big scale anymore, and it's like not at major tournaments that Nintendo is sponsoring, obviously.
Yeah.
But people will still play the game. I don't see the community like growing to immense levels just
No.
because of the struggles that it's facing, plus no more content coming to it.
Yeah.
But like even too, like other people were thinking of like, oh, we'll pick it up, we'll continue this legacy of
Yeah.
PM, we'll continue it, but they don't want that because then their names are still associated with it no matter what, the people who originally made it.
Yeah.
So they just no one touch it, just leave it as it is.
I don't know if that's gonna happen though. I could see someone going like Guy Fawkes style and trying to like
I
carry on
think
the
no,
tradition.
I know that's like one of the. It's
They
still,
might be get renamed, not to Project M. It'll be
Right.
something else. But like,
Well,
I have a feeling
yeah.
I have a feeling it's not the end of it, because this could like.
It's yes and no. Like so, like there's people who obviously like I don't know obviously, but some people were like, yo, we're gonna step up, we're gonna take over, and
Yeah.
they got shut down pretty damn quick. Like
Yeah.
people.
But I'm saying they might go and do it without their permission. Like they might get their hands on some copies and like use the code and whatnot, stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
might be like, oh, they turned us down, but all we gotta do is get our hands on this, and this somehow.
It's always possible, but
Yeah.
they know at this point, anyone who would be interested in continuing it knows that anything they do could jeopardize like those people's lives, those people who originally made it,
Yeah.
just like legal issues and stuff like that. So I don't see it. Other mods are gonna come and go. There's another, I think there's one called like Brawl Minus. It's like I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Yeah, that was just like the name they gave it. There's like, there's other mods, but
Yeah.
it's a tough time. So I just wanted to give my
Pour one out.
my condolences to PM because it is
Yeah.
a really cool game, and
Yeah.
it's even one of those things like not even just for the competitive community. Like I've heard that just people, like get their friends over who are just casual smashers like you guys, and they just love it. Like it's just so much. It's just a way better version of Brawl essentially.
Yeah. I never got to play it, but I've always.
If
heard
I
about
had
it.
my Wii, I would definitely let you try it, but
Yeah.
someone else has it, so
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
What else do you actually have on the Wii? Off topic, but what games do you have on the Wii?
Oh, I have a ton of games.
Okay.
I was
wasn't
like
sure.
really into the Wii.
You like the Wii?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. Taylor, do you have the Wii?
I have a Wii.
Do you like the Wii?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't play it anymore, obviously. I don't even have mine anymore.
I only play mine occasionally.
Yeah.
Like I have like classic NES Mario on it.
Oh, yeah.
And just
Nice.
that I bought in the store just to play. And I play a lot of Brawl in there with my girlfriend, but
Yeah.
nothing competitive. I won't get into that with.
Not with the lady.
It's another world.
Well, talking about Nintendo consoles,
Mm-hmm.
there's a rumor going around that what do we call it? The Wii. What is it?
Super Wii Cube
The Super
64U.
Wii Cube 64U. Yeah, I forgot the Super came first, but the Super Wii Cube 64U is gonna ship. Their plan is at launch to ship 12. What was it? 10 to 12 million.
Yeah.
And then by
Pretty
the
bold.
end of 2016,
20, right?
yeah, to have 20 million out there. Which, if you think about that, I heard someone else say this. A friend of mine. I didn't even think about this. it's more. Well, we haven't even talked about this, so never mind. This that report came out between the podcasts, but if they were to ship that, the Wii U sold like 10 million consoles in their lifespan. So that's really bold. That's, I don't know, and because then we were trying to figure out when they could. This was offcast. We were hanging out at one point, and then it was offcast. We found the news, and all of us said the same thing. It's pretty bold, but we were trying to like narrow down like what they could, when they could release it. Yeah, and then we thought like, okay, so summer, that would make sense of trying to get all the months so you could do that. But then at the same time, when did they announce it? If they announce it E3 June, it's out in July or August. That's really quick. And then you can do it in December, or you can do it in November and whatnot. But still, then same thing. They're gonna try and ship 20 million from like November and December.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time, right?
Yeah, that like this console has to be like the greatest thing of all time if that's what their plan is. So I think now that I thought about more and talk about, I think they will maybe aim for August because that's when the Wii U I think came out. So I think they might aim for that. They might do like E3. They'll announce that at E3 they're talking about the NX, and then at E3 they'll actually talk about it, pricing and whatnot. And
do you think that'd be a good time, August?
I don't. You guys outrank me. The majority, all of you think. I don't think this year is a good time. Remember, I don't like this cycle.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Is I don't know like if, and I see your guys' point. So that's why I'm hoping you guys are right. I just don't know if in the middle of a console war is the best time to do it because it's just like we said. Any other time, it's been a year after the most, and it's just all of it's a risky move, and it's one of these things we talked about before a little bit. On the cast and more off is like Nintendo has to knock out of the park with
that's like the.
It's not like
that's
if we
excitement.
fail.
That's where the excitement comes from for like Nintendo fanboys.
And the fear though,
like,
because what if it fails again? Then it's like what happens to Nintendo? Like, does it go to a Sony? Does it go to Microsoft? Which there's pros and cons for both. Because like, oh great, you have one-on-one console, but do you lose like that Nintendo niche, like the creators and whatnot? You know, like does all of them come over? And that's the thing of like. I don't know, and I've heard that conversation before of like, oh, everybody wishing there was just one console, but at the same time, I don't know if I do because certain games like look at Splatoon. I don't know on let's say Sony, the Wii U or the Super Wii Cube 64U bombs, and Sony buys up Nintendo, and it's like, do you think we'll get Splatoon? Do you think we'd get WarioWare? I don't know if we would because it's like, would they? Because they would just make Marios and Donkey Kongs and Mario Karts. Would they even spend time on the smaller titles, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, if, let's say, hypothetically that happens, they buy Nintendo, how is it going to work? Are they going to have two consoles still, or are they going to combine it into one?
I think they combine it. What do you think? If like Microsoft or Sony bought it, I think they would. Because then they can just ship out those games on their console, right? So, and then plus...
Unless, like... PlayStation sees it as like, oh, we know why Nintendo has been dropping the bomb. We know what to do with these consoles to make them successful in this like market. I don't know.
And they like go 50-50 with them.
Well, it's just like that's one of the most special thing about Nintendo is that they have all these IPs. Like they have all these very
unique and different IPs, but iconic at the same time.
Right. So like, so many people want these games, and they're just like not like it's a new thing. You know, with Star Fox coming, it's like they really dropped the ball now. Yeah. I haven't heard any excitement about that yet. And people have been waiting so long for the new Star Fox, and it's just... I don't know. They have so many wonderful games. Yeah, Metro, like, there's tons on the list.
Yeah.
Where they're dropping the ball.
Yeah, and this is...
Yeah. Where's Melee HD? Give us Melee HD.
Oh, this is what we talked about offcast. So we were talking, we'll do like a quick blow-by-blow of what we thought. We put our brains together, and we thought that this is pure, like, fantasy, like... No, like, we don't even know if this would actually happen, but we think, like, what could be their opening lineup? And what did we say? We said a Melee HD, right? And that was one of those things, remember, we talked about that before Project M got closed down.
Yeah.
Oh, light bulb. Think about that, though. Because what if they did want to do, like I said, this is all fantasy. I don't think they would do it, but let's say they did do a Melee HD for the Wii Super Cube. I'm just going to call it the NX right now, just to save time.
It's quicker.
I'm really tired today, so my brain's shot.
NX,
so,
yep.
Yeah, the NX. So if the Melee goes there, do you think like I said, I'm agree with you. It's probably not Nintendo, even Nintendo shutting them down, but that could be a reason if someone's like, hey, we really want to bring Melee up to the new console as like a definitive version or whatnot.
Yeah.
So we should maybe try and see if we can shut down this thing, or just maybe hint at like, hey, you might want to stop doing that.
You know, I actually haven't put that together
Because it didn't happen.
right now,
Remember when we talked about it? Project M was still a thing, but now
that's true. Honestly, I feel like this is just like a long time coming. Them shutting down PM.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's what
so
it
you think
is.
it would just be all coincidence then?
Believe me, there's nothing more I want than a Melee HD. That would be amazing.
Well, our thinking behind it was not just like fanboying. I was thinking of like they'd want a Smash game to launch, but they're not.
Yeah, well,
gonna
your
do
suggestion
a new
was
game.
like a Smash Wii U, but with all the DLC bundled together.
Yeah, that's what was my you said the Melee, and I thought that would be better than that, but I don't think they will. I think the more reasonable thing would do is the Super Smash, whatever they said for Wii U, but it'd be Super Smash for the NX, and it would be like all cloud, everything like that for the $60. So that was one, and then we said, of course, there's like a Mario, like Super Mario for NX.
Yeah.
There's probably another Mario that's like a Galaxy or Sunshine. Hopefully Sunshine. I really want Sunshine.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the last one, because it was kind of like Super Mario 64 and then Sunshine, then Galaxy. They're kind of all similar in the way they play, right?
Did that come out launch with the Wii?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But it wasn't too far. It was like probably Christmas time, right? Yeah, where we didn't have that. They didn't have, or Wii U didn't have.
Yeah, it's just because there was a Galaxy 2 as well, right?
Yeah, but that was on Wii, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I don't think Wii U has.
No, they don't have like
just that.
Unique Mario.
Yeah, because that was like a 64, and then a GameCube, and then a Wii, but the Wii U didn't have one.
Yeah,
and that's like huge. Like people love those games. I love those games. So.
I would love. That's what some people, and that's why I don't think we talked about it before, but that's why I saw it online when they announced the. I always forget which one. Is it for Zelda? What are they remaking for the Wii U?
Princess?
Yeah, that's what people were just wanting Mario and whatnot, and that's what people have really said. That's what I would be. Imagine them launching like the NX with a Mario 64 HD, and like especially it would never happen, but I saw it on the. You saw that video of it running on like the Unreal Engine or something like that? Like obviously it wouldn't be like that, but like something that was just beautiful.
Yeah,
But anyway, so that's
what
I'm saying.
they did a remake of it on like a DS or something, but
but
just like that kind of Mario game, like open world, those games are awesome.
Something new, something not just platformer.
Yeah.
So we thought Mario platformer, Mario unique game, and then maybe some sort of Smash game, and then we said maybe that's where they could do a Metroid Prime, like a real one. Maybe that's why they didn't announce it for a Wii.
On like a new console with like crazy
launch
system capabilities. That would be amazing, you know.
I think Diddy Kong Racing too.
I don't think at launch. I don't think at launch, but I think that would be like no. But remember, first of all, I'd love a Diddy Kong Racing too, but it makes sense. They're not gonna pump out a Mario Kart again right away, right? I don't think so.
I feel like it's probably been at least like 2 years since the last Mario Kart came out.
But think about what was it between like Wii and Wii U. I feel like it was at least 4 or 3.
Yeah, but the thing with Mario Kart is it's like one per console.
Yeah.
So you could look at like, Smash for example, when it came out. It came out at the very end of the N64's life cycle. Yeah. Melee came out as a release title for GameCube.
That's true. Yeah,
somewhere near the beginning-ish of Wii, and then like pretty late into Wii U. So like, it doesn't really matter where you put it out as long as it's one per system. So they could push it up and have it as a.
Yeah.
It sounds like sounds like they have been working on this console for like
a while now.
A minute.
But the one thing I was gonna say though, remember there was a long time ago we talked about reports that they were talking about doing a Diddy Kong Racing too. So that's where I could see in the first cycle they do Diddy Kong, and then maybe the next one or the year after they do Mario
F-Zero. Bring F-Zero back.
I want that. That's what everyone says that
would
new
be,
racing game
with amazing graphics. Yeah, there's one game that looks exactly like it. I'm like, why don't you just?
I know. Why just put it as F-Zero? Like why? Like it makes no sense. So those were the kind of. Like I guess 4 or 5, but the other one I thought as a good launch title, and I know I'm completely biased here, but like, and then we said Zelda will likely be a Wii U and an NX, like a dual one. So that's the 5. But then I thought this would be the perfect time to bust out Luigi's Mansion 2 for the console because they did it for the 3DS, and I bought it. That's the reason I have a 3DS, and I loved it, but I still want it on like my big screen, things like that. So. That would be a good time. Maybe not its launch, but in maybe the first year, like a good in March we have or now October, whatever. Like That's what I really...
People love that game.
Oh, yeah, and I think a sequel, people would be into big time. Kids would still be into it today. I feel like I want some of those classic titles back, like we said, like with Sunshine, with Mansion, and like they need to fix Mario Party. They need to make Mario Party, like, really what I want is them to go back.
They could even just do a remake, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when we had a debate a long time ago. That's my whole thing with the NX. I want to just go back to basics. I want them to do Mario Party 1, 2, or 3, and like they don't even have to make an HD version, but just take that and do it again, because it's great. It's a board game, but it's a video game. You know, it's a board game. I remember as a kid, I love that game, but it's a board game you can play alone. If there's no friends, you can play.
It's a board game. You don't have to worry about the rules. They just do it for you.
Yeah, and it's like it's lost, and that's what I feel like sometimes. Even now, when I read the reviews of Mario Tennis, apparently it's really bad. That I feel like those other games, like those special games, have lost their magic. I feel like when Mario Party and tennis and soccer came out, you'd be like, "Oh, this is really cool," but now it's kind of like, oh, just another shitty installment. Yeah. I want them to get back to like Mario Party being the game. Like Mario Party, if the last one was good, I guarantee that would be a game we'd play all the time.
Oh,
if it was like, you know, and
but at this point, there's like 3 or 4 of us that have Wii U, and no one.
Yeah, and to be honest, at my birthday when I had you guys and my friends over, like that's the game that got played the most that night because it is so.
Mario Party 3 to be precise.
2. It was
2. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
3's the one. My girlfriend
but not
really
the
wants.
Wii U version.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, we play that for hours. But no, just I've talked about before, but like stealing the stars and the mini games and just simple stuff like moving separately is like it's so great. But we played that the most because the other thing is too, people that don't play that much video games can pick that game up. And I'm sure the old Mario or the new ones you can, but I don't know. Just that's what I want with the NX. I want those classic like kind of feelings back again. So that's what we kind of thought. Was there anything you thought as far as a game you think would launch or anything we missed? I'm sure there might be like an Animal Crossing game for those people. Like, no offense, I just never been into them. So like, I imagine some.
There hasn't been. Well, like they have the board game one coming out, but they haven't had a console. You're a fan of Animal Crossing.
I like it. I mean, I like Animal Crossing more on the DS than I do.
Yeah, I was about to say I feel like it works best as a handheld game now that I've tried both, but. That GameCube Animal Crossing game is amazing. So,
and that's the other thing I think we talked about. We didn't think it would launch. It may never come out, but I think a Pokemon RPG has to happen in this console. I think that's something. I'm not even a big Pokemon guy, but I would play that like on the like I do like my 3DS, but it's just I don't know. I just don't get around to using it that much. I don't know why. It's just it feels like because it's not a console. I always put it on the back burner because it's like this is my main game. This is like my like sister game. So. I think, and people have been wanting a big-time Pokemon game on the console for a while, and I know we got Pokken coming out, but, like, that's not the same. Like, it'll be fun, but it's not this wide game, so...
You mean, like, Pokemon, Omega Sapphire or whatever, Omega Ruby, but, like... Console version?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, because I totally agree then, because Pokemon Colosseum and all that, like back on the GameCube, that was awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah. I think anything, because what did they didn't do, right, I think Jessica's brought that many times, they didn't have anything for Wii U, right? Any Pokemon games. And what did they do for Wii?
They had... they had one like Pokemon Revolution or something,
but it wasn't the greatest.
I never played it. It didn't look too great.
Okay, so same thing. That's pretty much what they got to do is they just got to bring I don't know. It won't, but the second year I could see them doing another Splatoon too, because that was one thing which, if we don't have anything to add here, we'll talk a little bit about the Game Awards. That won, what was it? Best Multiplayer. Splatoon.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was really surprised.
It's a hugely popular game.
Yeah, I know. So I don't think I'm gonna buy the Wii U one because I'm just kind of like I think I've kind of
missed
it.
You can borrow it and try it.
Yeah, I'll borrow it, but I think when it rolls around on the NX, I'll be purchasing it because all I hear is fun stuff and good games. But yeah, we won't talk too much about the Game Awards because you can just go and look at a list. But I guess the overall two things I want to talk about was one, Witcher 3 won, which unfortunately Kirkland's not going to talk about it. But yeah, one game overall Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So like. Yeah, I don't remember all the specific ones, but I
beat Fallout 4
and Metal Gear. I was not happy. I was pulling for Metal Gear.
So, like, Taylor, you haven't played Witcher yet, have you?
No.
All right, none of us have played it yet.
So we're experts on this game.
I definitely have it on my radar. It's just sitting on my Steam wish list until it goes on to a good price. Or, I guess a good price is $60 since it's such an amazing game. But I'm just waiting because I'm not hugely into Witcher. But I have not heard a single negative thing about this game. I've only heard that it's the most amazing game ever, best video game storyline ever. Like I've just heard nothing bad. Fallout 4, on the other hand, as much as I love Bethesda, I have problems with it. I've heard tons of other problems with it.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Show us Witcher 3.
Yeah, and I'll have to play Witcher because I honestly am a Metal Gear guy, but I could see them probably winning if they have a really good story because Metal Gear stories are really like all over. They're fun, but you kind of feel like you're on an acid
I think what I've
trip.
heard is with Metal Gear, like it's if you've played the more games you've played in the previous series, like throughout the series, it helps. Yeah. Even though it's still gonna be wonky. Witcher 3, I've heard like. There's a couple backstories you might miss, but overall, you can still play as a standalone game. It's amazing. Yeah. You can play with the other games as backstory 1 and 2, and it'll be...
And I'm the same as you. That's why I never got The Witcher 3, because when I saw it even preview at E3, like, it looked fine, but I was like, I'm not in the Witcher series. I've never really played it.
Well, yeah, so 1 and 2 were not on par with 3, right? So that's...
And it's definitely a game that flew under the radar, so that's good for them that they're winning that. Like, obviously, the end of the year, all, like, main... websites and whatnot, they'll put their game of the year, so I'm excited to see what happens. It's definitely between like that, Fallout, Metal Gear, like those are the games that are always talked about. Mario Maker, I agree it belongs in the category, but I just would never see it winning just because I don't know, like they just I know it's probably tough to give it to that for some reason. I can't remember what was the 5th game that they had up.
I'm not sure.
Was it like Bloodborne or something, or it was something?
I have no idea, man.
I can't remember, but. Those 4 games to me are pretty good nominees. Whoever the 5th one is, I'm sure is good too. But those are like that's a pretty solid year for like Game of the Year. So, and then the other thing I want to talk about quickly is that I hate is that this like back and forth between like Konami and Kojima. Thank you. And the fact that they just went out of their way to make sure he couldn't go to the Game Awards is just it's so disgusting.
Do you have some backstory on this? Like, why?
Nobody does. It's just, at one point, rumors were coming out that they weren't getting along. They were having lots of difficulties and whatnot.
It's just, okay.
Yeah, and there was many things of saying, like, in the midst of Metal Gear, like, this is his last one. Like, he's going to be out of here. And then, so apparently it's always been this back and forth. Like, at one point, they took his name off the box. And I think they put it back on for the Ridge. I'm pretty sure it is, but I know that was a big store. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's back on the box. I'm 99.99 sure. But at one point they took it off, and everyone was like, you guys didn't make this game. Like, they're producing it, but like he's the brains behind the operation. Right. It's kind of like, though, like it works better for me in these terms, but it's like a movie studio and the director of like if a director and them are having problems, even though he made the movie, they try to like say, oh no, like directed by just like anonymous pretty much, and it's like. Everyone knows he's made all the other Metal Gear games, like excluding spin-offs. So it's like fans know he has his hands all over it.
That's messed up. That's really messed up.
Yeah, and then what happened was apparently he when it was his last day, he left, and I guess like everyone was celebrating. They had like a going away party, and then Konami a week after put out a statement saying that he's still with the company, that he's just taking a leave of absence. And it's like, it's really weird because there's like photos and whatnot, and like, it's like obviously a goodbye party, and it's like really weird. And then just to take it one step further to, I don't know, like, obviously there's some bad blood there, but Kojima I don't think is going to go on stage and be like, fuck you Konami, you're a piece of shit. So it's like, it's such just kind of a dirty, like, greasy move, and I hate it because it's a shame to see like two partners just split up like that, but it's one of those people who've gone back and forth being like, oh, who's really at fault here, who's the presser. I think we kind of got our answer now of like who's the main problem here, you know. And it's one of these things I said on the group chat, and I think I'm going to stick with it. I think I'll say it here. Barring they somehow get a Batman game, I will not ever buy a Konami game ever again, because moves that for me was just. It just put it over the edge for me. Yeah. Especially maybe it's because I'm biased because I really love Metal Gear, so it's so disrespectful. And he's not there, so it's not like I'm going to worry about having to buy his games. He's going to go off and do great things on his own. Like, once he is a free agent, whether it's Microsoft or Sony, once they get his hands on him or he does something just for both companies, like, he's like a wildly critically acclaimed creator. Legend, so, I don't think I'm going to ever buy a Konami game again, like, you know. Which, speaking, this is completely quick. We won't talk much about, but talking about Batman, they're making a Batman Telltale game.
I don't know. What do you think of it? I can't tell what your emotion is.
I'm just surprised. Like, I'm not either like good or bad. I'll play it, but it's just like that's the last thing I saw coming. Like, it's super weird. Like, have you played Telltale games at all or what?
Oh yeah, I've played.
You give me more because I've not.
I've a bunch of videos, but I haven't actually.
Same thing. I've played a couple, but tell me, is this going to be good or is this? What do you think?
I think it'll be good. Like Telltale's The Walking Dead won Game of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Right.
They know how to make a really good game with a really good story. Like they've done Telltale Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. They've done, as I said, Walking Dead.
Yeah, they're in Minecraft right now.
They've done that. Game of Thrones. They've done Borderlands. Yeah. So
Marvel's coming out, or Avengers coming out next. That's what just kind of threw me for a loop. That they're doing next year or the year after is Avengers, and then 2017 is Batman, and I was like, this is strange.
They can definitely it's a lot of different random series that they're tapping into, but they know how to pull it off really, really well, especially with the story wise and getting to know the characters. They do such a good job.
That's what they said. They said this is going to get into the psyche of Bruce Wayne, so I'm super excited. I'm really excited to just, well, truthfully, I'm really excited for any Batman game, but yeah, I don't know. That's a lie. I was going to say I'll try and wait for all the episodes, but I'll likely play them at a time. So, yeah, no, I was just surprised. That's one of the most left. I remember, because I didn't get to watch them live, I was checking my phone, and I just saw, Telltale announce a Batman game. This can't be right. This is so strange. It's just, but it's just, that's so impressive for Telltale. Look at all the properties we just named off. They got their hands in everything. That's good for them. They must be making so much money right now. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out. I was just super surprised, and yeah, I think that was it from the Game Awards. But which I guess we'll just transition while we're talking about the Dark Knight, Batman vs Superman trailer that came out this week. Taylor, what did you think about it? We'll go around the room.
Well, I watched it and it was definitely a change up from the last trailer where it was just Batman and Superman at each other's throats, just trying to take each other down. Yeah. And now it's just it was a lot more calming, and you could feel a little bit of tension.
It was calming.
Well, no, it wasn't like them at each other's throats. It was just kind of just.
It wasn't as tense as.
Yeah, it wasn't as tense. It had its moments where you could feel a little bit of tension, but
that is not a calm trailer. There's buildings crashing down, calm, soothing, could fall asleep to it.
But it was taken down a little bit of a notch. It wasn't have a full amount of action in there. The one part where you see Clark confront Bruce Wayne and just ask for his opinion on Batman, and then you see Lex Luthor come in and just totally just get the tension out of there and make it an awkward moment. And then I legit thought Batman, spoiler if you haven't seen the trailer yet, I thought he was gonna.
Yeah, oh yeah, actually no, because some people are choosing not to. So yeah, if you don't want to see this. Yeah, skip maybe 10 minutes ahead, because there are some people online, because I've heard that spoils a lot. They're I'm not watching this thing, and I wish that was me.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. What Travis said.
You've been warned. Yeah,
you've been warned. But yeah, that part where Batman is sitting in his Batmobile, and I legit thought he was gonna die there for a second. I knew he wouldn't, but I was like, "Whoa!"
You're the second person that said that to me. I'm like, "It's the trailer."
It was intense, and then all of a sudden, Wonder Woman comes in, and I love that part where Superman looks and he's like, "I thought she was with you," and Batman's like, "I thought she was with you," and I thought it was awesome to see that. But I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Dylan, what did you think?
Quick question: Wonder Woman, she wasn't in any of the other things, was she?
Quickly, there was one shot of her dressed up and she got slammed up against a wall.
Yeah.
And shots where she wasn't Wonder Woman. Nothing like this.
Right.
Nothing mainstay.
Yeah, I'm just in the same boat as you, Travis. I just think it
spoiler.
It gave away too much.
Yet. Yeah.
It gave away way too much. The villain, what's his name? Doomsday.
Doomsday. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's rumored to be.
I feel they shouldn't have shown anything in the trailer that showed that Batman and Superman were now on a team hanging out as pals. I just thought it was kind of silly.
Yeah.
The hype for the movie, even though I'm not a huge Superman or Batman fan, I was still really hyped for it. This kind of killed it a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, and Dylan's not just saying what I say, because I had talked to him and I hadn't told him.
If we compare this to Smash, you're the casual, I'm super hardcore. And when it comes to this comic book stuff, I'm super casual, and this still killed a ton of hype. I thought why? Why is
and I didn't even bias. I just posted in the group chat, and that was it. And he was just like, "Well, that's lame." I didn't even see. I wasn't even ranting. I wasn't even stupid trailer, blah blah. So I was like, okay, well then people definitely think that. Yeah, I'll piggyback off it. There's parts I really liked. I'll go with those first. I did like the beginning of Bruce and Clark. It's really good. The back and forth is really just the subtle, like, name drops and whatnot, and just, like, little pokes at each other. In the comics, they do that a lot. It's very wordy. I don't understand why Clark Kent doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. That's kind of weird. And there's people like, he's an alien. It's like, yeah, but he lived in Kansas City or whatever for, like, his whole life. It's like, you're gonna know who Bruce Wayne is. Like, I knew who Donald Trump was as a kid, and that's who Bruce Wayne's supposed to be like. So that was kind of weird, but... And then the good scene kind of got broken up by Lex. I don't like Lex in this. I like Lex more as, like, he's a powerful, very charismatic...
Do you mean it, like, in terms of actor?
Comics? No, well, kind of both, but I think he's doing well. I just don't like what they've written for him. Okay. Like, I think he's acting well. Like, that's great, but the character, I don't like. People have brought to my attention that, oh, he could change because he's not even bald yet, so there could be development. I hope so. So, like, I'm not totally writing off yet. Just from what I see, I'm kind of like, oh, just okay. He's kind of this Weasley, like, squirrely guy who's just like... The line I hate is when he shakes Clark's hand and he's like, oh, that's strong. You wouldn't want to fight with him. And that's the stuff I don't like because it's so, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know you're Superman. It's like... Yeah. And Lex isn't like that. Like, Lex is... In my opinion, anytime I've read him, I don't read much Superman, but I read stuff where he's in, like, Justice League when they crossover, because I'm not a Superman fan, so I'm biased against that. But, like, he's very much like Bruce Wayne, but I feel like the evil version of Bruce Wayne. Like, he's very smart, he's very calm, but so he's doing a good job acting, but I didn't like it the most. But, yeah, that was my biggest problem, was just they gave away way too much, and I've even called on this cast. I said they're going to team up in the end. And other people have been like that online. Like, oh, well, you knew that was going to happen. It's like, don't show that to us, though. Like, I want to wonder how they team up. And, like, clearly now, it's like, oh, man, there's, to them, who's Doomsday, they're just like, there's a huge fucking, like, alien of sorts. We got to fight. So it's like, you know how they team up. So when Wonder Woman comes in, you know the exact moment in the movie because Batman's going to die. And now... What a good moment that would have been... Sorry to cut you off, I'll just finish this point. But that would have been a good moment in the theater to not know Wonder Woman. And, like, you thought Batman was going to die in the trailer. Imagine in the movie theater if you were sitting there and he was stuck and he's about to get shot. And you thought he might die. And then Wonder Woman came in and saved him. That would be, like, a stand-up clapping moment for everyone. But now, when you see that shot in the movie of Batman about to die, you're like, no, because Wonder Woman's going to come down. That's why, like, it was good for that when you said, oh, he might die, but they should have saved that for the movie. And, yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
My question is just... How much of this movie now do you think, like just rough percentage-wise, like how much of it do you think is going to be Batman against Superman, and how much of it's going to be them taking down Doomsday and whatnot?
50 to 60 of Batman and Superman, maybe 65, and then the rest. I think this is, I broke it down with another friend. I think it'll start with, you get to learn, like, their two stories, what's going on right now. They meet, they have a problem, they fight, something happens so they don't kill each other. They realize they have a common enemy. Lex makes Doomsday, big fight, and it's over. Like, and that's what I hate about the trailer. That there's gonna be, and people are saying like, "Oh, you don't know about this, don't know about this." Yeah, but we pretty much know. Hopefully, you don't. Hopefully, it's a big like that's. Well, like that's why I'm still gonna see the movie, and we will too, because you never know. Because a trailer, like
they could just be throwing us off.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing. That's my problem with Doomsday. Like he looks very bad. He looks like a orc from Lord of the Rings, and that's the thing where in the comics he does evolve. So maybe they're not showing his like comic book state. Like in the comic books, he doesn't look like that at all. He has stones coming out. He has like gray hair and a ponytail. He has red eyes. Like
I didn't think he looked particularly bad.
He does
like,
if you don't
Doom
know what he
Fantastic
looks.
Four.
No, but if you know what he looks like, which I'll show you a picture later, it's like,
okay,
that's Doomsday. Like,
right.
But that's the thing. He could change. So it's the same thing. Like, I'm not saying like fuck the movie, don't go watch. I'm just saying from the trailer, from the time when that first trailer came out, I was so excited. It was a great of like, okay, Batman hates Superman. Superman doesn't like Batman, and they're gonna fight. And I still feel like they should have left it at that. I feel like this trailer was for our parents and people like that don't know about these movies and are like, oh, they're fighting, but they're still gonna team up and yay, like. So yeah, I was not a fan. I'm still gonna see it, but my excitement level went way down because I feel like I know the movie and I hope I go see it and I'm like, oh, I was completely wrong. But if I go see the movie and it's like the way I laid out, I'll be extremely disappointed because like we're in a day and age now where Civil War is all right, but you look at the Star Wars trailers, those are perfect. They're great. They make you excited, but you don't really know what the plot is.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're still releasing too many of those, though.
TV spots, but the same thing at the end of the day. They'll show cool shots, but they're not showing us what the whole plot is. They've never said like raise a Skywalker, this, that. They've never. Where this, it's like Wonder Woman's gonna come in here. Like Doomsday, they should have never showed.
Yeah,
they should have like. They should have. Maybe they could have showed them team up. They could have. They could have edited that trailer and make it show them like team up against Lex. And like the Doomsday thing, like I said, that would have been another moment of like, oh my god, like this character that everyone wants, like in the comics he kills Superman, like he's a huge villain,
Right.
and it's like now there's too much. So that was my problem. The trailer, like it wasn't a terrible like trailer, it was just way too much going on, like, so yeah. I'm not sure how the other two feel about it, but and it's very.
Well, I mean, like I said, like I'm a casual in terms of this
but
kind of thing, but it's still...
You give me crap for saying this all the time, but this one is the most, I mean it, the most split down the middle. Like, there's been so many polls, and the same thing when I did a poll on GeekVerse, or Twitter, it was like, I did 4 options, like, what did you think? Was it, like, good, bad, terrible, or, like, you didn't watch or whatnot? And all of it was, like, 38, 17%, 17%, and 38. And it was, like, every other poll, like, someone... I watch Screen Junkies. If everyone knows what that is, it's a really good show. Look it up. But the host of that, he did a poll, and he has lots of Twitter followers, and there are lots of votes. And same thing, he did like, did you like it? Did you hate it? And it was like 50-50 on the dot. Like people are really torn by this trailer.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like it's you and me. Same thing of like, hey, they showed too much, and then there's Taylor. Like that was just a really exciting trailer, and I can see it's a really exciting trailer. But then at the same time, it's like there's so much in there, you know. So.
Batman holding the gun kind of made me think, like, oh...
I didn't like that.
That's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if it was a gun, because, like, in The Dark Knight, he's got that gun thing, but it shoots sticky C4s. So it could be some high-tech thing like that, but it looked like an assault rifle.
Well, that's the thing. I'm fine with him, like, using it, and they'll tell, like, not a gun. We know it's not a gun. It'll be something. But for the final shot of, like, him, Wonder Woman... and Superman, he shouldn't be holding a gun, because that's their thing of, like, these are the 3, like, they call it the Trinity in comics. These are the Trinity, and that's, like, their hero, like, money shot. You want to see that movie, and I'm fine if he uses some gun, like, oh, this sends sonic waves to, like, give him a headache, like, whatever, like, but I don't like in the money shot, he's holding a gun.
Like this, with the
or with a batarang or something, but with a gun, it's like, of course you give the guy with no powers like to hold a gun.
Special forces
like,
looking.
Yeah,
ninja.
so there was that, and like as a classic Batman fan, I don't like when he was about to say "oh shit." I don't know why. It's just the kid in me. I'm like, my Batman doesn't swear, and I know like he would swear like mean, but not in a, like a shocked way. But I don't know, and that's what I'll say. One thing, I think Ben Affleck's actually gonna do really good. I thought he was really good in the trailers, Batman. I think he's gonna. So anyone that's like nervous or doesn't like it, I think he's gonna do really well. So
what do you think of his Batman voice? Because you could briefly hear it in the trailer.
I go back and forth. I don't hate it, but I don't mind it. Like, you know what we're talking about?
Like the raspy kind of...
Well, it's not raspy anymore. It's like he's using like a voice modulator, so it's like robotic.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there's only a few lines. Yeah, I've probably seen it like 50 times. Like I like legit, but no, he's using like a voice modulator, so I get it because they don't want to go up against Bale's like Rachel, like that. But like at the same time, I don't want him to sound like Megatron or anything like that. And my point was, like, you think about the Dark Knight. You haven't seen him in the Dark Knight. You know the interrogation scene between Batman and Joker, like everyone's favorite scene. And my thing is, like, if he's doing an interrogation or talking to someone with the robot voice, is that going to seem a little weird? That's my worry. So I'll have to see how much he talks. But so yeah.
I agree.
I think that was it for me. I guess, did you want to talk about PSX? The non-PlayStation guy's going to open up the PSX.
Well,
because you got to see it, so hit the bullet points. Hit like what, like for some big stuff, or just like because you got to see it all. Me and Dylan only got to see a few things because of school and work. So life happens.
I didn't even know it was happening today until you told me about it.
Yeah,
because I follow Xbox, I don't follow PlayStation. So, but I went on to IGN, I went on their live stream, and boom, right away it kicked off with Uncharted 4, and I was really excited to see that. It looked amazing, and seeing the dialogue options now, getting to choose what you want to say.
So you told me about that, but so that's like you get 4 options and you say that to that person?
Yeah, well,
that's a big change.
I can't remember. It was just a couple moments you got to choose what you wanted to say, but as Nathan Drake's talking to his friend here, you can talk about like El Dorado or
Still, that's a new feature. So
it is new.
Yeah.
It's new. It's really really
That's
cool and I looked into it a bit, and they're not making a completely open world, but
No.
they're making it a lot more open than it was in the past. Previous, which I think is really really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I did see, and that was just like, it just looks beautiful. Like, that's going to be a fun game. I can't wait to play it.
Did they have actual gameplay footage?
Yeah,
this time
actually,
around?
yeah.
Nice.
It was really nice. Like, it seems really far along, too. Like, they didn't give a date, right? No, but
I
it
don't
seemed
remember
really
it.
like this is going to be a next October, November game. Like, that's what I got from it. And I'll play it. I'm not as big as, like, a Final Fantasy fan as Jessica, but I played a lot when I was a kid because as a person that had PlayStation 1 and a 2, those were the games that were like, they were exclusive back then. So you got those a lot, or I always remember like in game magazines, those were always like the demo ones you got. Like, there are some games that I remember just giving up because it is so bold, but 7 I do remember quite a bit. But
that's
not
widely considered the best.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those games that, I don't know, like, they probably didn't do bundles back then, but I feel like it's a game that a lot of people had. But I don't know it well enough to be like, oh, this has, like, I'm down to play it front to start again, because any game that's like PlayStation 2, I just have like vague memories of either it was fun or like meh, like I couldn't tell you what happens in Spyro. I just know that I'd go around collecting orbs. So, and then what happened from there?
Well, I had the chat opened up for IGN.
We love these live streams.
You have to. Excuse me. Everyone was just like so stoked on Uncharted, and when the announcer even said like that was Uncharted that we just started off with, so you know the rest of the show's going to be good. And sure, Final Fantasy remake, that was really really beautiful seeing that. But
and Street
after
Fighter,
that,
which is like,
Street Fighter was good. It was exciting.
I have no interest in that game whatsoever.
Neither.
Like, and that's a PlayStation exclusive. It's just. And I guess maybe that's, I've just been conditioned, but I think if I ever buy a fighter, it's always Mortal Kombat. Like, if I'm like, and I usually go every maybe 5 years, because I feel like I buy a fighter, and I'm like, I always buy every Smash Bros, but like, Mortal Kombat's a way different fighter. And
Smash is just more about like the movement.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes a while, and I'm like, okay, I want a fighter, and I want to, like, the new Mortal Kombat game always makes me want to get it, because they added, you see what they added, Dylan? They added Leatherface, you know him, Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh yeah.
Terminator in it?
No, they added Xenomorph, the alien.
Man,
Predator,
I was saying,
right?
when I was at EVO, which is like
and Predator is in
the
it,
biggest fighting tournament like every year, I was watching Mortal Kombat. Like it's an entertaining game.
Yeah.
It's sick.
And now Predator's in there, Leatherface, Jason's in there.
Is
and
this
now
in the
alien.
newest one, or is this like a new game coming out?
This is still 10. They're adding on to it. And
cool.
yeah, Leatherface. So like, it's been, I don't know. I want to maybe wait till they do like a definitive one. It's one of these things. I'm not even in that mood for a fighting game, but it just looks so good.
Yeah.
And I have played it. It's really fun.
I was really interested in checking it out. I just heard that it had a ton of issues on PC, and that's why I never picked it up.
Yeah.
And then I was, maybe considering PS4 anyway. But
yeah. But and then from
that's cool.
We don't need to go down every game because like.
I won't go over every game.
But I think my thing was I was talking to Taylor like separately, and I said we talk about this a lot. There's definitely a lot Xbox fans that have jumped over and whatnot, and in the PlayStation community, and this could be just me because I listen to a lot of PlayStation podcasts. Like I'll shout out like PS I Love You XOXO talking about video game awards, like the guy Greg Miller who won Training Gaming, like that's his show, and he does like a PlayStation show, and it's great. It's not just like an entertaining show, but I think it's the most like, not to crap on us, but just like because they're inside the business, so they know stuff. So it's the most like educational like gaming podcast because it's super fun, but they just get into stuff, and they really laid the groundwork of like this is a show for hardcore PlayStation fans, and like so you're talking about in chat when people like crap on the indie games and whatnot. I don't like indie games, but like I kind of not like, we've been over that before, but like they're not my main draw. Where some people love them, and that's where. This con was for that, and I knew that going in. It's when they're like, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
I feel like a lot of like all these big conferences now have a block dedicated to indie games. I love it.
And this felt like a big block though. From when I looked, it was like a lot, and it's the same thing of like, I don't know, like that's what you expected. Oh, and this is what my point, Taylor, was okay. So you have E3, and then they did Paris Games Week, and then they also showed some stuff at the Video Game Awards. So it's like. What huge stuff were you really expecting them to break out for, like the fourth console or the fourth con in the next 6 months? And that I would say that for Xbox too, because they did what they did E3, Gamescom, and the Game Awards. If they were to do another one right now, what new are they going to show us? It's like, and then they'd show us that new stuff, like smaller stuff, like. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like people got too overworked of like, oh, it has to be like. To me, a conference is just like, oh, cool, let's watch it. I always watch, like, same thing. And I watch the Xbox games ones because of the Gamescom one, because it's just like I watch directs because I like to learn about video games. I like to know what's coming because something like Paragon, which I don't know if I will play it by the time a year comes in and go like, but I see a trailer, I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Like, I know when I see or someone says Paragon, I'll keep my eyes open or ears open and like, oh, yeah, like find more information. Where before, if I didn't watch the PS4 con or like read about it, if I saw Paragon, I would just like scroll past it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is just some game coming out. Like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Like, and that's why I like cons because you do get to see that. And they showed a lot of VR, which people maybe don't like, but it's one of these things of like, I don't like. To me, people complain they didn't show a lot. I think it's people that are new to PlayStation that are complaining that you didn't see like a God of War. Like we talk about like Crash Bandicoot. I would love to see Crash, but it's like I'm not mad that I didn't see it because I wasn't promised it. If they're like, hey, huge announcement at PSX, I'd be like, okay. But it's like, no, they just kind of show you what's coming out. It's the same thing people complained about, not enough exclusives for PS4. We talked about this on the chat again. And I didn't even think about when it happened, but next year you have Uncharted, you have No Man's Sky, you have Horizon Dawn, you have, what else was there? Now, I listed off a bunch to you, and now I completely forgot. But, like, there's 5 or 6 we counted of, like, PS4 exclusives, but they're not all just coming out in November, so people are like, oh, like, whatever. Like, so it's one of these things, like, there are exclusives coming out, and I don't know, that's also a thing, too. If you make PS4 successful, they're going to not do exclusives as much because they get Battlefront exclusive and Call of Duty exclusive. And it's the same thing. 360 did the same thing last generation, so some of you talk because I want to find out what those other games were. It's going to bug me.
Alright, what else did you see on this PSX?
Well, yeah, I mean, after those 2 big titles, that's where everyone started talking trash and literally all like people doing like Xbox and then the greater, less than or greater symbol than PlayStation and just saying like
live stream chats are the best. They're so funny.
They are, and I wanted to get on some of these combos.
I never watch these things full screen anymore. I just love having the chat on the side. It's so terrible.
Okay,
and you can't have a conversation, but it's so funny.
Yeah. And these were the other 2. Like I said, I'm not hyped for it all, but Street Fighter is a PlayStation exclusive, and Last Guardian, the one with the huge. And that was the thing I feel like there's lots of exclusives, but I feel like the people don't like the exclusives. So it's not like, oh, there's no exclusives. Like, there's no exclusives for you. The same thing Horizon Dawn, it looks cool and whatnot. That's that one with the girl and the bow and it like those. It's like the robot dinosaur. Yeah. For me, I have no interest in that game whatsoever because I don't know. The whole mechanical dinosaur thing is kind of weird, but it's like that's gonna be a huge exclusive in November.
I thought it looked pretty cool. I would be interested in it. Yeah.
There's just something about it for some reason. But if it gets good enough for reviews, I'll probably play it. But it's the same thing of like that's an exclusive. No Man's Sky is an exclusive. Street Fighter, Last Guardian, Uncharted. It's like that's 5 in 1 year, and that'd be the same. Like, what did Microsoft do this year? They had Halo. They had Tomb Raider, but don't count that because it's coming. Yeah, Gears.
Halo Wars 2.
And that's what I mean. Like the big ones. There's more, but like you don't get like 20 exclusive like top titles. That's what indie games are for. Like Microsoft has small indie independent games, and so does Sony, and those are exclusives. But we can go back to talking normal. That was just my rant. I had to get that out there because it was just like, and I felt like people judged it a lot of like they never promised us to be a big thing. They just like said, "Hey, we're doing a conference." Like, and that's what I said Taylor. We saw a lot of VR, like a lot, and like there was like 4 games announced, which you can talk about. What did you want to talk about?
Like I through like 5 indie games have gone by, and I was getting really like bored. I went and sat on the couch and just kind of turned my head and would look. And
as much as I have respect for indie games, definitely like when there's that panel of like indie games that they show in all these conferences now, like
it depends because I felt like this one, from what I saw, there's nothing that grabbed my attention.
Yeah,
even sometimes like I don't like indie games that much, but there's sometimes where that seems interesting, or like what's this about? But this one was kind of like, I'm not playing like any of these probably like. Yeah, but what was the one you saw for VR?
They started talking about the VR, and then that's when I went back and I looked, and then people, I gotta get my notes up for this because I wrote it down.
Which I'll talk about while you get your notes. I'm surprised they didn't announce a date or a price, because that was a rumor going around that they were going to announce that, and that's the one
thing. They did talk about it a lot for not having that information.
That's one thing I'll say. That to me, you can be disappointed about that because that was a big rumor, and there was a big rumor. The con's not over yet while we're recording this, but there's a big rumor you'd be able to change your PlayStation name. They didn't announce that, so that's not true. Then there's those things you can be disappointed about.
Can you pay to change it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're stuck with it.
Okay.
Show us this team.
So Taylor has his classic paper list out. One
You
time,
can hear it.
when our very first video stream, you'll see this list. And
Oh yeah.
Oh,
When I saw it, they mentioned the VR and all that, and then I see the usual Ubisoft symbol load up, and then everyone, the whole chat lit up. Assassin's Creed spin-off, Assassin's Creed, all this stuff, and I'm like,
Did you by chance link the stream to your page?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
should have.
yeah, it's all just Assassin's Creed.
Like-
Any game, Assassin's Creed.
My face like turned white. I was like, "What? Is
It
this
turned
for
white?
real?" It turned white. Like I was like
Turned
like
white.
petrified,
He
like
was
or not
petrified.
petrified, but like
Okay, white is like you're sick, and petrified is bad. I feel like
No,
you'd be like
white
red with
from-
excitement.
White from shock, I think. I
yeah,
heard that
there you go.
before.
Shock. That's what I
He
was
was
looking for.
petrified.
Petrified.
I feel like that fits too. I think Taylor did a great job of describing his emotions. There.
Thank
Go
you.
on.
No, I
Yeah.
feel like he'd be petrified if they like. To me, petrified is a bad thing. So if they're like, guess what? Assassin's Creed is now PlayStation exclusive for the next 10
Oh my
years.
God.
I'd be dead. I wouldn't be petrified.
I feel like he'd be petrified. Would you have to buy a PlayStation then?
I'd have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was.
Would you
that's
sell your
my fear.
Xbox?
No.
You're just
Not
sending
a
down the more
chance.
money for that. I'm the
Um,
same. If they said like, "Hey, Batman's Xbox One exclusive," I'm like,
All right.
"Damn
Here
it!"
I come.
Yeah, exactly. Here I come.
Bethesda, please don't. Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
no one ever. Just stop doing it. You don't need exclusives anymore.
But yeah, it was not an Assassin's Creed game. It is from the makers, but it was I wrote the name down here. What was
Flight?
it called? Yeah, I think
just
it
called
was
Flight.
called just Flight.
Oh, the Hawk or
the
the,
Eagle
Eagle
one,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Eagle Flight Virtual Reality. So it started off and it
Oh,
looks
that's a VR
like,
game. Okay.
It's
I
a
was like,
VR
this
game.
Did you not know that?
No, I was like, this game just looks stupid. Why are we playing
You
this?
think you're just an eagle flying around? That'd be awesome.
It's a VR game, and as soon as the eagle's flying, it looks just like Assassin's Creed 2 setting in Venice, which
Yeah.
looked really, really cool. The graphics look nice.
I like the graphics. Yeah, it was good.
it is,
For
and the,
VR too, which they're
Yeah.
gonna be down. So
the music sounded just like it was out of Assassin's Creed, and you see
Ezio.
you don't see you see Ezio running around killing people, but yeah,
he's fighting
you're-
Doomsday.
Well, you're just an eagle watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
it looked really, really beautiful and serene and calming, and as the eagle's flying, then you see two other eagles swoop in on the sides, and it's co-op. So I guess you could fly with your eagle friends.
Fly with your crew or your
You can
squad.
fly with your crew. I mean, I don't know what the objective of the game is. If you're shitting on people's heads, or you're
I don't
flying
think
around.
so. I
There
don't.
was
think-
no people, man. It was a dead city.
Yeah, it was a dead city, but it definitely, I can see where they kind of copied a little bit of the idea from Assassin's Creed 3. Personally, at least, I'm thinking, because in Assassin's Creed 3's King Washington DLC expansion, as Connor, you could play as an eagle, you could play as the
Oh,
bear
really?
in
Okay.
certain parts, yeah, and
That's cool.
I believe this is like an increased spin-off version of that,
Yeah.
if you'd want to call it that. That's how I see it, at least.
I did too. I haven't even seen the trailer you're talking about. I just saw it said Ubisoft VR Flight, and I saw a picture, and that like right away like looked like Assassin's Creed, like the layout and the texture. Like even if it was just a bird, it looked very much like a spin-off or like a sister idea of like, oh, we could do this with it. They may not call it Assassin's Creed Flight, but it looks very similar.
I'm okay. Like it's a PlayStation exclusive. I'm assuming it's
Maybe the VR thing is so like it's by both companies. It's still because they're not Xbox isn't doing VR, right? They're doing the Rift,
Yeah.
right? So I guess it is a exclusive. So
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with never.
you don't want
playing
to play
it.
as the birds.
No, I mean, if I want to see eagles, I'll watch Nature Channel or something. I mean, it's.
But you don't want to fly as them
With
and-
your
No,
squad?
I'll play
With your
Flight
squad.
Simulator or Goat Simulator. I mean, I
Goat
don't need to fly as
VR,
a-
virtual reality gold simulator. No, I'm the same. I don't know how to feel about VR yet. I feel like that's a thing. Well, one, the rumors are it's gonna be like a console price, so I'll definitely wait. But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna probably wait a couple of years. I feel like when that launches,
like
that's
you
gonna be really.
you just
buggy
need, like,
and-
Some good games, you know.
yeah, which I feel like after 3 years or maybe, but I feel like
Exactly,
that
yeah.
first couple of years is gonna be tough.
You're
And
gonna
I don't-
have Eagle Simulator and that one where you.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Did you see that one where it's called like? I think it's literally just called Job Simulator, and one guy was like just working in like a kitchen, like flipping burgers and stuff.
See, and I
It's
don't
like,
want to play
that's
those ones.
like that's not the kind of game you spend $400 to get VR to play.
I don't
you
want
know?
to come home from work to play work, but
Exactly.
Right.
That, like, That's what I'm saying. Like, I think this VR is awesome and super cool, but
It's gonna take time.
waiting for like the really quality games to come out. I don't
It's
know.
gonna be a while.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think that's another thing. If people are wondering why there's no exclusives, I think PlayStation's big time like focusing on that. I could see
for sure.
because there is no day or price. I could see them maybe doing that next E3 and announcing that for the holiday season and saying, "Oh, this comes out." Whatever, because they don't want you to have too many exclusives because they also want you to buy this expensive headset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm the same thing. I won't buy it right away. Unless it's super, if it's $99 maybe.
Batman
but
game.
that one, yeah, the next Batman game is exclusive. Anything that's Batman, I'll throw on the money. But I feel like I really want to play a virtual reality Batman game, but I feel like I'd get really sick. Like if it was first person and you're like flying, but like, yeah, Batman all the way, but. Yeah, I'll wait on VR. What about you? Would you like? Because yours is different because you're getting Rift, but still, what is your take on the whole like VR thing?
I love the idea. I think that's where gaming was gonna go eventually, sooner or later.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm ready for it. Like I thought the Kinect was fun with like the motion sensing because that was the step in that direction. And
but that didn't sell though. It did at the beginning, but then it went
it
away.
It
so that's
went
my
away,
worry
yeah.
about VR is if it goes away because
300,
300, 400 is a lot to ask from somebody. Even 250 for like an add-on. Plus you got to get games. Unless it comes with hey you buy this and you get a bunch of games. But if it doesn't, that's the tough part for me. Is like and maybe get like kids and whatnot and people that like don't pay rent or bills or school can do it. But I feel like the normal person, like gamer, is not gonna be able to afford a console and that.
I think it depends on the game. Like I got when I had PlayStation, was it Motion? PlayStation
Move.
Motion? Move, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had that with for my PS3. Having that and putting the controllers all into that gun and playing Mag,
Yeah.
that and SOCOM 4 with this gun was absolutely, it was so much fun. Like I felt like it had that feeling like you're at like the arcade at a movie theater or something like that, but you're in your own home and it was really, really enjoyable. And to have that taken to the next level with virtual reality, as long as they make sure they're putting out the right games that work well with this, I think they can really take off with it. Like for me, I think horror games are huge.
Yeah. I think that's the go-to.
A huge, great way to tackle virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it's tough. They gotta find stuff for families too, because you couldn't just be like, "Oh, we do really great horror games." And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
well, Jimmy, you're not getting this until you're 18. Like that's the thing of like they have like an Until Dawn one. It's like kids aren't going to be allowed to play that, so they have to have a wide variety. And the question is what? And I guess that's what the Eagle Flight game is
Eagle
for.
Flight.
Yeah. Did you have some other stuff on this piece of paper? Because I think I haven't done with news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can take us
I'm
home.
done with PlayStation Experience news, but I got other news
Oh,
here.
lay it on us.
Well, there's a Strangers 2 coming out.
Yeah, I
next year.
saw that.
What is Strangers 1? I don't know what this is.
You never saw Strangers 1?
We'll have to bring out when Jessica and Kirk were there because they really liked it. It's that one we talked about where it's people with hoods and they just like randomly go and kill these people and it's really scary.
A horror movie?
Yeah, it's a horror
Okay.
movie. No,
I
Disney.
I didn't even know if it was a game or a movie or what.
Yeah,
So.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
it's a
for
movie.
it. They
That's
announced
cool.
it a few years ago and it's been
Did they?
yeah. It was like after the movie they announced it a couple years after and it's not had any word. So it's good that they're making it. And I think there's more stuff you can do. I think in this movie they were gonna die, like the strangers. I think that's the only way to go next. But yeah, it's quality. It's pretty good.
Cool.
Watch it one time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So from that, then I'm going to Black Ops 3. I want to talk a little bit
Why
about
don't you go in the order of like how you wrote it? Why do you go back and forth between the front and the back? Why do you,
I
Don't
don't know.
suspense.
I just drift in and out from my
Life.
notes. Yeah, from life.
So Black Ops
Yeah, Black Ops 3. I gave it, if you guys heard my last
at the snippet
rating,
end of Fallout.
the very end of the Fallout
He
podcast.
butchered it.
I did. I was a bit too harsh. It's still not up there with Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare is still above it, but it definitely has a lot. Black Ops 3 has a lot of things that make it a good game, especially the Nightmare campaign. That's what I wanted to talk about. So after you beat the main campaign, you get the Nightmare campaign, and Black
That's
Ops.
new.
What?
That's new, isn't it?
It is new. Like Black Ops has always had the zombies mode, but that
Right.
would be separate, survival or whatever. But now It's the whole regular campaign, but they've just changed all the dialogue, and it's a whole new story, but it's the same missions, and they've added thousands and thousands of zombies into the mix. And
Wow.
there's new some new content throughout the missions and all that, but ammo is a lot more harder to find, and it's when you're running into an area and you have all these robots that you gotta take down. The robots are busy like punching the heads off zombies now and all this stuff, and the zombies, there's literally like 50 zombies in front of you coming towards you. It's nice having that change up from repairing your windows on the walls and all that, and having just to fortify and hold out one area for like 30 waves. Now you got to push through and get to the end of this, throughout this whole map layout, and you have to get through all these zombies now. It's a huge and really, really nice change up, especially with the co-op, because they've not done co-op since World at War. So to bring that feature
nice.
back is
Like
really
couch
nice.
co-op?
Yeah, like campaign co-op and all that. So they've always had like
They
co-op
had zombies.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
They've always had that, yeah. But to do the campaign again with co-op,
That's really cool. I
nice.
didn't even hear about that mode, but that's really interesting.
It is.
They
it's
still have
nice.
regular zombies too, yeah?
They do, and
Good, good.
that's totally just like, I haven't played much of the zombie mode. It's
What's your record solo?
I haven't done it solo. It's I've
In
just
in all of them.
out of all of them,
Yeah.
my all-time highest record is like 40 something. World at War, I would just go crazy on that zombies.
Man,
That was-
in Black Ops 1, mine was like 51 or something.
Nice.
I
Wow.
was super into it.
Like alone or with somebody?
Like solo, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Mine, I probably didn't
Me,
get that
like
far.
me and like one of my other friends were like really competitive. Like we were constantly like trying to beat the other guy's record. And I think that was the highest we got to, was like 51. It took like 4 or 5 hours. It was terrible.
Oh man.
I'm gonna edit that out so everyone still thinks you hate the game. All they have is like, oh, 6.8, blah, blah. So would you still say it's 6.8, or would you
No,
bump it?
I would put it at. I'd probably put it at like a 7.5.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fair. That's
Decent.
fair.
I'll give it
That's a
that.
fair
That's decent.
change.
We'll
We'll allow it.
allow it. And now I'm going to talk about the Battle of Jakku DLC.
Battle of Jakku.
Yeah.
Do it.
um,
Oh, okay.
So have you got
Paper
the Battle
walls.
of Jakku yet?
No,
You haven't gotten it
I
yet?
haven't played it in like a week.
Are you able to download Battle of Jakku?
I don't know, because I haven't played it in a week, so I don't know.
Oh.
That's why I said
Oh.
it. Like, I probably, I don't know, because I did pre-order it, so we'll see. I'll have to check. But if not, Tuesday when we're recording this is not that far away, so I'll play it then. But I think I did play it a bit again last week. I'm about at 11, so I just want to get the jetpack, and I'll probably play a lot more. I hate playing on the
Jetpack.
jetpack, but
Well, I'm all about Battlefront. Like
I thought you didn't pre-order it, or you did, right?
I pre-ordered
Oh,
it. Yeah.
so you got the Jakku stuff.
I got
How
the
is
Jakku,
that?
yeah. It is, as soon as I finished downloading it and went onto the map, like, the Turning Point is the new game mode they released with Jakku, and so as soon as you get into this map, I didn't even run into the combat. I looked around, and you look up in the sky, and you see, like, 50 Star Destroyers and, like, 50 Mon Calamarian cruisers, and the whole sky is lit up in red and green lasers. It is a huge, epic battle, and you see Star Destroyers falling, like, in pieces down to the ground and everything. It is so
Good.
awesome. Yeah, it's good.
So good.
It's so
If
good.
you can't, if you
Oh.
haven't realized, last time we did the Newcast, Taylor wasn't here. I said I'd let him talk about it. He very much loves the game, as you can tell. So
Oh, not that much.
you don't?
No, I love it. I love
It's
it.
just
so good.
So
Wait, are you joking?
Yeah,
You do that? Okay,
I
I'm
do
like,
love it.
The whole week you've been like since release, you're like 11, then now you're like no.
No, it's perfect. Like, and Jakku is just so absolutely stunningly, like, it's.
Man,
I thought of how to
adjectives.
say it earlier. What did I call it earlier? It is so.
phenomenal.
Oh,
Excellent.
those are some words, but it's
Those are some words.
Just trying to find some scrumulescent.
I did not. That's definitely not. That's far fetched.
I like that reference.
It is like. It is a. I don't know. It is like an all-out.
Scrumulescent. That's what it is.
It's a beautiful destroyed landscape, like.
A beautiful disaster.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. It's
That's
a
why I'm
beautiful,
gonna be a writer one day, folks.
a beautiful disaster. That's perfect. It's epic, and you're running through like crashed TIE fighters and X-wings on the battlefield, and when you're playing Turning Point as the Imperials, you have to go and you have to hold out command posts, and the Rebels are trying to push their advance, and as they push and take over those command posts, you have to retreat further back in towards your main base, and then the Rebels get out their snow speeder, or their air speeders, now they're called that, and then the Imperials get their ATSTs, and it is just, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Through the
It's
roof.
really fun if you're on the fence. Like, it is a fun game. I always say if you want some big campaign or something, don't get that. Like, you gotta love Star Wars, and it's fun. Yeah, I think if you love Star Wars, but it's a fun shooter. It's a beautiful game. Like, you know, I'm not on the same level as Taylor. I'm not playing it as much as him, but I will in the next few bit. But it is my favorite thing usually to play after Fallout if I have a day off or something, because it's a nice like mind break. Because it is fun just to play around. It's good with the heroes, but no, it's a fun game. So. Yeah, I'm with you. I like it a lot. Not as much as you, but it's fun. Like, a lot of people don't like it, but it's just, I don't know. They've told you for months that there's no single player, so you could have not pre-ordered it or like not bought it. So it's like you can't complain. Like, there's nothing to do.
I feel like you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
They have a fair amount of single player
but
content.
No
there.
campaign. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's
no
what people
campaign,
That's what people complain about.
And I mean, like, when people got the original Battlefront, I don't think most of them played the campaign as much as we really think. I think most of them are doing instant action. And when I'm playing this Battlefront, Taylor Field, when I'm playing this Battlefront, I do like 3 hours of multiplayer, and then I'll go and do like 2 hours of single player where, like, the Endor chase, I was screaming and swearing because I wanted to get all 5 stars by beating the race.
Girlfriend.
Oh,
He's turning into a monster.
She was freaking out, but
Sounds like you were freaking.
I was freaking
He's
out.
on the phone with the police. He's lost it.
Yeah, you do lose it. Like, when you're trying to get 3 stars and you gotta beat the race in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and you do it in 2 minutes and 31 seconds, you're like, what the flying fuck is going on? Like,
I thought he was not going to say the F word when he threw the flying, but no, you still went with it. Wow.
What the flying fudge? All right.
It can get so frustrating, but the cutscenes they add in there are really quite interesting, and they added, like, the cutscenes in there make it enough to seem like a little bit of a story that they have in there, and then just collecting collectibles and doing there's a lot of single player stuff, and the diorama is a lot of fun. Like,
I've not even played any of these modes you've said. I've just played all the multiplayer. I've not done any single player.
Collecting in your diorama, like, you've seen what that is, right?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, well, it's like you do different things throughout the game, and then you unlock the diorama.
Okay.
Like,
I haven't seen it, but I see, like, the whole, like,
It's
shoot people in the head 10 times.
Yeah, it's really, really addicting. Like, I just got my 10 hours in a vehicle, and that unlocked Slave 1 in my diorama, and I just love seeing it in there, and I love collecting everything in my diorama. But it's a great game, and even I was looking at it earlier with what you said, so many people dislike it, but they even said, like, it's a game it's not meant for hardcore gamers. It's a game that even young kids can actually play too.
And that's what I like. I think that's probably a big thing that the shooting community and the, like, first-person shooter is really down on it, but I like that because I don't have to worry about when someone, like, there's level 50, but the guns aren't that different. There's a few guns that are powerful and whatnot, and there's a few perks, but, like, most of the perks you can just randomly get. You can all turn to a hero. That's what I like, because I don't like Call of Duty when I log on 2 months later and then I just get destroyed because everyone's so further ahead. With Star Wars, a level 1 can kill a level 50, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what I like, and that's what it should be. It should be a fun game. And that's the part I do like. I do like I said, there's stuff, it's not my game of the year or my favorites all the time, but I really like that aspect of, like, it's just a game I put in to have some fun, and that's what I like. I don't have to worry about, like, getting killed, like, every time and just responding, like, and it's a game that I feel like it has a good community that is starting to change. I feel like people are finally doing objectives and whatnot, not just going for kills. Where in Call of Duty or Halo, like, it just feels like people just want kills and kill streaks. Like, they don't care about objectives. But this, it's like, I feel like people are trying to actually take down that AT-AT.
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's great. So, that's the stuff I do like, so.
And you can definitely, like, in the Xbox community, you can definitely see the difference, too. Like, when I'm playing on Xbox, like, people are a lot nicer on Battlefront and friendlier, and as you say, more, like, they go for the objective and stuff, but then as soon as I pop in Call of Duty, it's like, whoa, what the fuck you doing? And all this swearing and shit. And these are 10-year-olds, too, by the way. Like, it's so
Stay
bad.
the flying fuck away from me, 10-year-old.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's all I have for Star
Shout out
Wars.
to Counter-Strike.
Yeah. All for Star
That's
Wars.
my shooter. I'm in love with that game.
Yeah.
It's still really popular, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'll ever die.
Never.
No.
It's like one of the biggest competitive games too. It's awesome.
It's like Hydra. You cut its head off and 2 more will take its place. Comic book reference. You'll know when we do our Captain America night. You'll know.
Alright, sounds good.
Um,
What else you got, Taylor?
Well, there's a big Halo 5 update coming out, and this is something that even Jessica said that she was kind of cheesed at.
Cheese that?
So
What
she's
is
not
that?
happy with
Yeah,
this?
what exactly do you mean by cheesed?
Well, she
Yeah.
was
Because you might like cheese, and you might think it's a good thing.
well. She originally, I remember she said that they don't even have Forge mode in Halo 5.
That sucks. I hate that.
It does.
Is that when you take certain weapons and you like rub
That's
them together?
yeah.
I'm a Halo rook. I have no idea.
Wait, you actually don't know what Forge mode is?
Nope.
Okay.
I've
Forge
not,
mode is where you go into a special mode and you can like move objects around, create maps and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah, make your own game modes, put up weapons,
Yeah,
do
people
anything. you
create
want.
all sorts
Okay.
of things.
So that wasn't in this game.
But it was in the past Halo games.
Mhm.
Okay, but it wasn't in this one.
It wasn't in this
And the
one.
update, it's coming in, right?
This update, yeah, it's called
Oh,
the
yeah, that's cool.
Cartographer's Gift, and it's adding.
It should
what-
be free. Is
It
free?
is, all the DLC
Good.
is free, and what they're saying is it is the biggest and most improved Forge mode ever.
Okay, they say that every year, so. I don't
Well,
know.
this I can
Every
I
game
can
says
believe.
that, though. It's like the most intense action game of the year. It's the most open game of the year. Like,
I'm
But where's
pretty
the
stoked.
cheese?
I will
coming
agree
from?
though that Forge mode has been getting better and better.
Well,
Well, I don't know.
what's the
cheese-
negative? Where's the cheese?
no, the cheese is that because Jessica was upset that it wasn't in, they didn't have
Oh,
Forge,
okay,
so that's
so
now they're adding
they're taking
Forge
away the
into it.
cheese.
Yeah, they're taking
Give
away
it
the
pepperoni.
cheese.
No couch co-op, though, yet.
No, but I could see that being a future update. I mean, if they're doing an update where they're adding something like Forge mode into the game, I could see them maybe in the future changing it over because the AIs are stupid anyways. So I
Yeah.
mean, put frickin' couch co-op in
Maybe.
there.
They should. The sales, that's what I'm excited. We might do, like, maybe a 10-minute, 30-minute newscast when the sales come out for November because I want to see them. But the rumors are that they're light. They're not. They're down from whatever, which makes sense because it's Xbox One. There's not many people, but still, like, it didn't push the needle like Xbox was hoping for. Oh, we got to jump on an Xbox One. Everyone buy that. Like, apparently the sales were light. So I'm excited to see. I still think probably. It's either Call of Duty or Fallout, which is number 1 for November. I'm excited to see what it will be, and then Halo and Battlefront will fall somewhere in there. I think Battlefront will win December because that when the movie comes out, you'll have so many people just like impulse buy the game.
Hyped,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I think like Kirkland was saying on one cast, he almost bought it just because he was hyped for the movie, and he like talked himself out of it. But after he sees the movie, he might throw down $60.
Probably, yeah.
And that's why I think in December Battlefront will win. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do.
What else you got?
Well, they're also adding new Warzone map called Battle of Noctis. Warzone is really, really interesting. Have I explained it to you guys already?
Yeah, you did when the game came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a new arena map, which is nice, called Overgrowth. New big team battle maps, which are always nice, and then 30 new wrecks for armor and weapons, and a lot more extra stuff, which is really, really cool because the customization options for your Spartan are absolutely phenomenal, and being able to collect all the different weapons and having weapons with bayonets on the front and all that is just a really nice new addition. And the fact that it's all free is just fantastic. Like, it is absolutely
That will F,
awesome.
apparently.
Like,
Well, that's good. It sounds like there's a lot in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it's free. Like, I can't remember the last time I got free DLC. It
Really?
is-
I feel like
Battle Jakku.
yeah.
You just talked about that.
Yeah, you got me.
so this past week you just got free DLC. So that's it with your list. Oh, he puts it down.
You
and I
put your
ask
list
him.
down.
Well, I'm
He
just
doesn't
double
say-
checking, you
oh.
know.
Hashtag save Hannibal.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Hashtag save Hannibal.
Season 3 on Netflix. I'm gonna definitely
Yeah, if you're
finish that over Christmas.
yeah, if you're
break.
Canadian or you want to switch to Canadian, if you're interested, it's on Netflix now. So like most people don't switch over to Canadian Netflix, but this is the time. Do it, watch it. Don't go to Amazon Prime. Like watch it here. And they talked a bit about that. He's been doing interviews because the DVD is coming out and whatnot. And they said that there's definitely got some good ideas for season 4. So keep those hashtag handles going.
Yep.
You never know. He seems to think, though, it would happen next 2 years, and if it doesn't, it won't happen. But I disagree with that. I think the fan base will always be. I think he's just being modest. But
It's a good show.
Which, speaking about fan bases, Taylor, where can they find us to be a part of our fan base?
Well. All you geeks out there in the GeekVerse, if you go on the internet, okay, you got to have that Wi-Fi connection with Shaw, Telus, I don't care, Bell, Rogers.
Or you're just naming Canadian people.
I don't know American.
All right, so you go on the
ones.
internet.
Yeah, you go with a good wireless internet provider.
Yeah, there you go. And then you got to type in www.google. And when you're on Google, you go...
No.com, though.
That's
does
for
that work?
if you're an old person, you type Google in first. If you're not an old person, you just type in Facebook.
Yeah. And the .com for Google, like it's .com or .ca. I didn't want to say because I didn't want to. It's optional. Yeah, I didn't want to just
Exclude anyone.
exclude anyone. There you go. So you go onto Google and then you type in Facebook, okay, and you go into Facebook and then in the search bar after you sign in, you got to put in GeekVerse podcast, GeekVerse space podcast, okay. And you're going to see us right there.
www.google does not work, by the way. So add not.com or
It's
.ca.
optional, just like Dylan said. I didn't want to exclude
Because you
anyone.
did just tell me Safari cannot open this page because the server cannot be found.
Well, maybe you can't do it on Safari. These people, maybe they go on Google Chrome or something. Well, now we're going to find out here. Okay.
Hey, look, we're gonna jinx him.
Okay. So you're on Facebook. You put in GeekVerse Space Podcast, and you're going to find us. We're going to be right there, and we have tons of awesome content.
Oh, on Chrome it doesn't seem to work either. Your webpage is not available.
Maybe if you're in the States, it'll work. But yeah, you go onto our page on Facebook. We have tons of awesome content, up-to-date stuff, tons of videos, pics, news, tons of stuff to share.
Pics.
Good times.
Selfies.
Save Hannibal's.
No selfies, exactly. And then on Twitter, you can find us at GeekVerseCast for all your weekly news update of all geek news and schedules and whatnot. Make sure you listen and subscribe iTunes. We'll have stuff like this. This is a perfect example of, like, we just decided we should do a newscast, you know, and we got lots of stuff dropping in January. We're playing coy, but we got some shows. I recorded I'll give a little, like, hint for anybody that reads comic books right now and is, like, looking for a show to get in depth. I'm going to be doing that in January. More details to come, but that's just like a full-on. I thank these guys for letting me do it because they know I like. If you even just listen to the Batman vs Superman thing, like I just rant and I rant and I rant. So, and I don't want to put these guys through it too much of not knowing. So, and they're gonna be on. Like we're gonna do a lot of stuff like we've talked about in the last cast, but we've decided that's when we'll do our Captain America one. Like Kirkland hasn't seen them and you haven't, so. We're going to watch them and do them, so there's always going to be lots of stuff. And then now on SoundCloud, you can find us there for all your Android users. Lots of people, my friends, been contacting me saying that they've actually like listened to it now, that Android, because they didn't have an iPhone, so it's really difficult for them. But everyone can just download that app. I'm not going to explain how to download the app. I trust you can find the SoundCloud out. So, other than that, thank you for making us part of your day, week, night, wherever, whatever you're doing. Thank you for giving us a listen.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Even your thank yous won't be normal, but okay.